What's up, YouTube? Back here with a lot of updates on the 72 volt build. First, as you can see, we've got the center enclosure mocked up here. It's just being dry fit right now. No hardware is holding it in place, but if it's snug, it would hold on like that for a bike ride for sure. So that's cool. Definitely fits, clears everything. The chain, there's just enough space between it is as big as you could go, so that's cool. This enclosure is cool. The steering is just minorly compromised, but you're only going to be maxing out your steering at super slow speed, so I can't see how that's going to be an issue. I have the blurred boundary seat. The two-person seat came in. My girlfriend and I put the rear rack on here because I wanted to test it out. This is the Super73 rear rack. The reason why I bought it is it had these handholds. I thought it would be really cool for her to be able to hold on now that we're going a little bit faster. However, when we put this seat on here just to mock it up in the rack, when she sits down, her legs cover exactly where she's supposed to be holding. So the main feature that I bought the rack kind of is not working. The rack really mounts up super easy. It's only 2 bolts on each side. The recommended weight is only 10 pounds, so it's kind of a useless rack if you were to follow spec. It seems to be able to hold much more weight than that. My girlfriend was even kind of sitting on it, so it definitely can take a little bit of weight. The other super exciting news is we've got our motor and controller in. The motor is the 5,000 watt. The controller is a 100 amp Saviton 72100 version 2. Version 2 means the mounts are there and on this side. The old version is on the top and the bottom, and it makes it a little bit wider. So we're going to test this thing out. The main difference between this kit and the custom e-bike kit is that the custom e-bike kit comes with what they call the waterproof version of this kit, and what that means is a few of these connectors will be Higo connectors instead of these alternate connectors. The only thing about ordering the Higo kit is the waterproof kit is that it doesn't come with the pedal assist. So I kind of wanted to mess around with the pedal assist, so I'll have to splice in the Higo connectors for the brakes and the Higo connector for the throttle. So that'll be a little bit of extra work for me, but hopefully I'll have a kit that has pedal assist as well. Now I am concerned about dremeling out this piece back here, the bracket, the mounting plate for the motor, because if I use this washer as a template, you can see there's a ton of play here. It's a little bit too much play for me. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to drop this off to my buddy that has a machine shop, and he's going to machine it for me. So we're going to get that machine today. So the plan for today is we are going to be taking off the rear motor. I'm going to take off the rear motor to get to the mounting plate, get that machined. We'll throw on the rotor after that, but I'll show you that as it comes. So that's where we're at for today. Lots of progress on the bike. It's looking good. I like the enclosure. It's the biggest that it can possibly be. We're going to be setting this thing up real soon. Changes about what I've talked about before. In the front, instead of going with 203s, I changed it to 220s in the front. So I'm going to go 220 on the rotor in front, and I'm going to go 203 on the rotor in back. So to take off the motor, we've just taken off the 2 bolts first on each side, and then we're going to take off the Allen wrenches right now, which are these. Oh, that's too big. But we'll take those 4 off, and then we'll be able to get to the plates. We are also going to take off the top bolt of the rail for our 10-speed kit. Now that we have all 4 of these Allens off, both sides, the motor just slides straight out of the frame. We've already got the zip ties all clipped and the wire harness removed, so the motor, as you can see here, is definitely unplugged. But that would be the only other thing. That would be that, and the caliper's already off. We've already sold the brake, well, taken off the brakes. We've got the rail off. Now the motor's ready to slide out. Okay, so we've slid the rear wheel off. Now we have the rear wheel off. Now I probably gotta just hammer this thing away. That's what's going on. Alrighty, this is the plate that we need. Alright, we're out of here. So we got the mounting plate back. We were able to get it machined. Fits on here solid. Very happy with the way it turned out. Dremling it would work just as well. You can decide whether you want to spend money to have it machined, or if you know someone that can get it machined for you like I did, it was a no-brainer. But we got this part back. It's installed. We got pretty much nothing holding us back from starting the lacing process on the wheel. I also got notice from the battery builder that the battery has been shipped. So once we get the battery in, we'll have no parts that we are waiting on. It's a nice ugly day today in California. Still probably 70 degrees. I'm gonna take this hub off of the rear wheel and try to start the lacing process for the new 5,000 watt motor, since we got the plate on and ready. So what I'm going to do first is take off the tire. We're going to let the air out. Just take off the cap. I do have a tool to take the valve stem out. I'm going to take the valve stem out. I'm going to leave the cassette on for now because I don't have my cassette removal tool. I don't know where the heck it is, so I ordered a new one. So I won't worry about that today. But I'm going to take the tire off. I'm going to take the other mounting plate off. I'm going to take the rotor off. And I'm going to start lacing it onto the new hub. One thing I was noticing here is I am missing quite a couple spokes. At least 4 have already broken. Oop, there's a broken one right there too. That's 5. So with my weight and the way I've been riding this bike, I have been losing spokes, and was kind of getting to a dangerous level. So it's a good thing that I am replacing all of them with thicker spokes that came with the new wheel. But right now we're going to take off the valve stem. Valve stem's on there tight. Small valve stem. Inside of these wheels I do have Tuffy tire liners. The hardest part about taking these wheels off is breaking the bead. The bead of these wheels does get on here pretty strong. I just push down real hard on one of the edges. You can pop it off. So we got this bead off. Same thing on the other side. On the side, pop the bead. Alright, so we've broken the bead all the way around. Now we can just walk off the wheel, or the tire off of the wheel, but I can't do that on camera. You can use one of these tire tools to get it started. You just hook it in here and pull out one of the edges. I noticed that if you push the tire on the opposite side of where you're hooking it out, it will, if you push the tire down, it will begin to come out a lot easier. So if you can get one edge going, push down on the opposite side, that'll give you the slack that you need to get one of the sides of the tires out. Once you have one side out, the tire is very easy to manipulate. At that point, you can take it off the wheel nice and easy. One thing I forgot to do was undo the valve stem. You can use a small little tool to get it going, get it unloose, the nut that holds it in. You can pretty much do it by hand after you get it going. There's 2 sections of threads on it. My second section is cross-threaded here. So when you're taking it off, as long as you line it up right on the second section, it should come right off. I had it cross-threaded for a second because I wasn't paying attention, but there we go. Once this bolt is removed, the valve stem is now not secure. You can slide it right out. So now we have a freewheel. Now that we got the valve stem off, we are going to be taking off the tire liner to get access to all of the spokes. We're going to be removing all of the current spokes and adding new spokes. That will also remove the hub off of the wheel and allow us to take the original Super 73 wheel and lace it up to the new hub. I was running the Tuffy tire liners the entire time I was running my Grizzly tires. I never got a flat once. On my old Badger tires, before I put the Tuffy tire liners in, I got about 10 flats. So I think that the Tuffy tire liners really do work, and it's worth the 50 bucks or so to install them on your tire. I don't know if I will be running them on the motorcycle tires because they're a lot thicker and heavier, so I probably won't need to put the Tuffy tire liner in. But if you're running bicycle tires, definitely recommend the Tuffy tire liners, and I'll throw a link in the description. The tire liners are actually really easy to remove. They're just velcroed on. So once you line up the valve stem hole, you just velcro this right back onto the old wheel. So this will be very easy to take off, get us exposed to all of the back of the spoke holders, and allow us to drill them out for the larger new size. So to take these spokes off, I'm just using a drill with a flathead bit, I mean. They come off pretty easy. It's hard to film this. So what I did was, I drilled out every single one that did not have a spoke through the hole, through the where you would screw it. Of course, it's focusing on everything but that. So the spokes that were, you know, loose enough just to take out with the drill, I took them out with the drill, and then I can just unscrew them with my hand. Any of the screw slots that were blocked by the head of the spoke, I haven't taken those off yet, but I'm just removing the majority. There's only 3 that had the spoke sticking through, so the majority of them I'll be able to take off right now, and then I'll figure out how to take off the last 3 spokes. So the spokes that were coming through the head of the screw hole, what I did was just take pressure off them by hanging it on a different spoke, stick the head through a little bit. Once you have the head through, you can just do it by hand. So the stuck spokes were pretty easy to get out too. Okay, we've gotten all of the spokes off of our wheel. Now we'll be able to drill out the original holes to be a little bit larger for the new gauge of spokes that we're putting in. We're going to take off the other side on the mounting bracket. Ooh, it's still on there pretty tight. Might have to hammer that out a little bit, but we've got the washer off. I had to use a screwdriver to kind of pry that, and we're going to pry off the last mounting plate, and then you can see the rotors are held on by the little hex screws, so we'll take those off after that. Okay, so the mounting plate was easy to remove once I tapped it from this side. Just hit a little bit of a downward force and it slid right out. After that, I was able to easily take off the washer, the bottom washer, and now I only have to take off the rotor so I can sell it separately. I guess if you're keeping your parts, you wouldn't even have to take it off. But I'm going to take off this rotor, and then I'm going to worry about this wheel and lacing the new. To remove the rotor, I'm going to use a drill with a T25 for the Torx head. Take these things right off. Once again, I won't be able to film it, but this is how you do it. Alright, so the screws are back in. We got the whole hub removed. I'm missing my cassette removal tool, so I'll have to wait a day to take that off. But this is a good time to show what the version 3 of the RX, S2, and R motor looks like. If you see, it has a fat half an inch after this plate here. It's almost a finger width. The version 2 and the version 1 probably has a space between my finger and this metal piece. It's a very small distance. But if you have a full finger from front to end, then you've probably got then you do have the version 3. So these are the new spoke caps. Let's see if they fit into the old holes. Oh wait, no. Let's see. That doesn't feel like it fits. Let's see this one. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, looks like they do fit with a little bit of force. That one's completely flush, so they fit. Maybe it just needs to be bumped down. But we don't have to draw out the rim, so that's cool. One less thing that we have to do. The new spoke size compared to the old spoke size, it's at least 1 gauge larger than the old gauge. So that'll be good, and it's a lot shorter, obviously, because the hub's a lot bigger. This is the way I'm going to attempt to try to lace this thing up. I've got a shoe in the box just holding it up together. We'll see if I have any success, but we're going to start the lacing process. So far I put about 4 to 6 spokes in on one side. I'm going straight from the spoke hole straight to the hole on the wheel that it would line up with. No cross is what I mean. I'm just trying to see if it'll even work first, but if it starts working, I'll show more. I'm trying to put the mounting plates on so I can put the wheel on the back of the bike to try to true up the wheel while I'm tightening the spokes. And the washer that's provided with the kit won't fit into the slot to sit completely flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind off just the edges of this washer so it can slide into the channel. I'm going to do that just with the Dremel, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, I was able to grind that washer down. It fits in the slot real nicely now. At this point, I've gotten the wheel pretty much laced. The only thing I haven't done is trued it or tightened all of the spokes down to the same weight or anything like that. At this point, I am lacking a few of the tools, like a truing stand and some of the other tools that I would need to true this wheel properly. So I think the best value for me would be to run over to my local bike shop, pay them, I'm sure, $15 to, I couldn't imagine, more than $30 to true this wheel, and my wheel will be ready to go. Then I'll throw the wheel on, the tire on, and the wheel liner, and I'll be ready to go. So I think that's the route I'm going to go. You guys can try to mess around with it and true it yourself if you have a little bit more knowledge than me. But for me, I think it's worth the small amount of money that it's going to take to true this wheel properly. My original plan for this back hub was to send it out to 808 Bobby in Hawaii. The cost of doing that was pretty expensive. It's close to $300 a wheel to send for just him to lace it up, but that was with the curved spokes, which are pretty cool. So for me to take this wheel to a local guy and have him lace it up, true it up, is going to be a way better value than that for me. On as far as milling out the mounting bracket instead of dremeling it out myself. It just happened where I could get it done for free, so that happened to be the route that I go. So a lot of these decisions, you can decide what's best for your own scenario and skill set. So there is ways to do this whole kit and do most of it yourself, so you're saving more money than getting it out to one person to do everything for you. So that's going to be the end of this video. I'm going to get this wheel taken care of. I've got the battery shipped, it's in the mail. We'll be making some real quick progress here. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, and any comments, I'll answer them below. Thank you.